喜欢的朋友们，所以。
Hey boss people, it's your girl Khai, the realtor here, and today I'm doing a little something different. Welcome to my very first episode of Conversations with Khai.
Yes!
Guys, okay, so this series of Conversations with Khai is all about, you guessed it, bossing up. And my very first episode is entitled Stepping into Your 20s Like a Boss. So you know I had to call in my sisters, my amigas, cheetahs, friends for life. It's Isabella Moore and Amy Velasquez.
Yes, happy to be here.
I'm so excited to have you guys on. I'm so excited and blessed, first and foremost, to have the opportunity to do something like this. So I'm going to start off with Miss Isabella. Please introduce yourself and let the people get to know you a little bit.
All right. Well, thank you for having us here, Khai. Super excited for this. So, hi, I'm Isabella. I'm 20 years old, and a couple of things about me is that, first and foremost, I'm a daughter of the Most High God. I love the Lord. That's my number one. Number two is I'm an English major, third-year student. I'm a writing consultant, and I currently, I just started a new position as a tutor at a new organization. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Hi everyone, my name is Amy. I am a full-time college student, 20 years old. I am currently majoring in human biology, and my goal is to become a physician assistant and just work in dermatology and make people feel confident.
Yes.
I love that.
Oh, so what do you do, Khai?
Oh, well, as you guys can see by the title of my YouTube, and if you know me on Instagram, I am a realtor. But there's a little more to it. Hi, I'm Khai Granger. I am a 19-year-old opera singing, life insuring real estate agent. Let's break that down. I am a full-time college student, and I'm majoring in music, or specifically vocal performance. So yeah, I sing, y'all. I sing. And I am also a real estate agent and a life insurance agent. So I'm licensed in both areas. I became licensed at 18 years old. Wow. So that's a little bit about me. But just to break the monotony, y'all, I want to start off this first episode with a game. Okay? Ooh. And Bella, please don't get too excited. Okay?
What's the game?
Yeah.
We are going to be playing Taboo.
Uh-oh, this is Bella's
about
game.
to go down.
This is Bella's game.
All right.
And if you're playing Taboo, you want to be on Bella's team, but there's no teams today.
This is my territory, y'all.
So, yeah. So we're gonna get into it. Bella's gonna pass the Taboo, and we're gonna play a little game. We're gonna play one lightning fast round.
Yes.
So here we go.
All right. So these are the rules, guys. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what we're gonna do is that we're going to have it 3 cards per person. So, for example, if I'm going first, you two are going to be guessing, okay?
Gotcha.
And the objective of the game is that you're going to want to get all 3 of those cards guessed by the 2 other people, okay? Within the 30-second timer. So, if there's one card where you're like, I don't know this, skip it. But just know, at that point, you're only going to get 2 points maximum.
Gotcha.
All right?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
No,
all right.
Clear.
Okay, so let's get this. Do we want green or purple? Which one?
What's
which one is easy?
Yeah, I think it was
Is
the
it
green.
I think it's green.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do green. All right, y'all.
Let's see.
All right,
I'm first, Bella.
Huh?
You gonna go first.
All right, I'm gonna go first. All right, y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. Wait, caramba. Okay. Oh, look at this. So, this is okay. I have earrings. I have rings. I have
jewelry.
Okay, where do you get this? Jewelry.
Pawn shop.
No, name a specific.
Or
Pandora.
Okay, keep naming places.
Pandora.
Keep naming places.
Okay. Every person can say
No, not that. This is okay, it's also a name of a girl. It's also a name of a girl.
Oh,
not Macy.
Tiffany. Yes.
Oh,
look at this. Oh, a lot of men use this.
Razor.
Okay, what else do they use?
Blade.
Cream. Yes.
Oh.
Look at this, man. Look at this. This is a little. Oh, frick it. I said a taboo word.
She was on honest.
Wow! I said a taboo word. Alright, I'm done. Alright, now it's y'all's turn. That's what I get for being.
How many points do you have? Let's
I got
count the
2.
points. Oh, shucks.
Alright.
Taboo queen. Okay.
Well, what can I say? I fall short here.
Okay.
Alright, you're up, Kai. You got this.
Wait, I can't
Alright,
see.
ready?
So I'm gonna look straight.
Okay, here we go.
Okay,
Whenever you're ready.
3, 2, 1. Let's go. Okay. Amy, your favorite food?
Sushi.
Awesome. Let's go.
That was easy.
Okay. When you are in a place, right?
Yeah.
Any place, and they tell you to wait in the
Waiting room.
Lobby.
Oh yeah, boom.
Good job.
Here we go. Ooh. When you want to find a boo, like
Tinder.
a romantic person, what do they usually call someone trying to set the two of you up?
Matchmaker.
Bam.
Whoa, you're
Go.
done. You got it.
Okay, I don't know what this is. Okay, the cereal, Raisin
Bran.
Okay, and you know that show Manifest. Who was the crazy girl?
Angelina.
That's
Right.
her
All
territory.
right.
Brangelina.
Boom.
Wow.
Okay. When
Wow.
what place does Amy want to travel to most?
Hawaii.
All right, and what?
Hawaii.
Boom. Okay.
Yeah.
Another word for the Most High God.
Creator.
Father. It's like Father.
That was like 5. That was so good. Let me tell you guys, like, that is the best that she's ever done at Taboo.
That's crazy.
I'm telling you right now. Yes, it's true. She got 5. That's a new milestone
great.
for you. So there
Yes,
you go.
okay,
There you go.
that's
fine.
Amy,
I'll try my
your go.
best.
Your go.
Okay,
We're gonna pass the torch.
Alright, so this is another way of saying like a song. It's very short. We usually sing this like
A jingle?
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
There you
shoot.
go.
Dang.
All right.
Okay, so this is a type of like food. It has like it's circular. Think of like
Donut.
Italy. Think of Italy. What's like the most popular?
Bagel.
Gelato.
Pizza.
No.
Forget.
All the words I want to say is on here.
Circular.
Okay.
Ice cream.
You can find this.
Crepe.
No, you can
That's
find
fine.
this in the supermarket. With
Italian.
Italian?
it's like it saves a long. I don't know. I don't even.
Lifesaver.
No. It's like lunch.
That's
It's like
Italian.
dinner.
It's a dinner.
It's
Pizza.
No, but it's like
Cannoli.
liquid.
Time.
Creme brulee.
Sorry.
No.
What was it?
Everything I wanted to say was on here.
Cow.
Oh,
Italian.
Yeah, cause like isn't that the
I get
pastas with
it.
the
I get why you
circles?
say it.
Isn't it that one?
No, it's a brand.
It's a brand.
Oh.
Yeah, girl.
That's why I see why now.
Alrighty, y'all. Well,
You did good. You did good.
That's the winner.
Yes.
For the first time in forever. Okay. All right, y'all. So that was fun. We are going to cut to some really quick getting to know you questions. You guys ready?
Yes.
Okay. So here we go. So, first question is, are you an introvert or an extrovert? I guess I'll take this one on first. I am definitely an extrovert.
For me, I am definitely an introvert.
I am an ambivert, which is a little bit of both.
Ooh, okay.
Love that. Okay. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
So I would say for me, it used to be in the city, but now I want to live somewhere where it feels like a vacation all the time. So I would say Hawaii.
I would say I want to have houses in different places in the U.S. and also outside of the U.S. So like, one in Queens, one in like Maryland or something, one in what was it? Shanghai.
Yeah,
And
all
then,
over the world.
and then different temperatures, different cultures. I think would be cool.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, aspiring real estate investor. I'm gonna have to get my license in Shanghai, and I would definitely say the same. I think I would have places all around the world. All right, so my next question is: do you have a side hustle or special talent and/or skill aside from your major and career aspirations?
I would say for now, it would definitely have to be singing. Would be my skill or talent.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it would be creative writing. And also practicing Mandarin, because that is a little something I have in up my sleeve. Is that what the saying? Yeah. Yeah.
That's nice.
So that's what it would be.
Well, we can't let this slide. Bella, can you say a little something for us in Mandarin?
She's trying to escape from it.
OK， 大家好，我叫 Isabella， 这是我的最喜欢的朋友们，所以
I hope you said something good.
I did. Don't worry. I said, hi everyone, I'm Isabella and these are my best friends. Yeah.
I love that.
And thank you for clarifying so I don't have to try to do the caption.
All right, go.
If you could use one word to describe your 2023 self, what would that word be?
I would say for me, the one word would be flourish. I think because this year I really want to get into things that make me uncomfortable and allow me to grow. So in order to do that, I just want to just do things that are different. And yeah, I would say flourish.
I love that. And Bella?
For me, I'm sorry, it has to be 2 words, but I would say ambition and execution.
Ooh, I like
yeah.
that.
I love that. I love that. And I would agree with both of those. I would say for me, blessed. I would say blessed in spite of everything and anything that's going on in the world is just being blessed and or grateful. Both.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So here's my last question for the getting to know you round. If you were in a room with a millionaire and you had 1 minute, what would you ask or what would you say?
Well, I know that, like, for millionaires, they always, like, wake up early in the morning. And so for me, I would say, like, what is your, like, time management plan? Like, what is your plan? Like, when do you wake up? When do you go to sleep? And, like, how does that work? And even if it does work for you, to have, like, time sets.
I think I would ask them, are you happy? And if you are happy, how did you get to be happy? You know? And if you're not happy, then how would you fix that? Like, from the millionaire's perspective, you know, because not every millionaire is happy with their life, you know?
True.
And I feel like success is based on, like, long-lasting happiness, you know? So there are millionaires who are. So I would like to get both perspectives, I think.
Oh, I like that.
I love that. I would say for me, I think it wasn't even a question I asked, but it was an answer that I got. As I said, I do life insurance, and at one of the conventions we had, I had the opportunity to speak with a millionaire. And the most important thing I learned in that conversation was learning how to listen. And, like, since I was a small little girl, like, around 4 years old, my grandpa would always tell me this saying, Kai, you gotta listen to learn and learn to listen, you know? And that's, definitely an important part. It's in anything in life, like business, anything, you gotta learn to listen louder than you speak. So I think that's definitely, I guess I would ask, how do you listen to others and, quiet yourself down a little bit. Yeah. All right, guys. So that was our getting to know you questions, and we're going to be moving on. So stay tuned. All right, guys. So we're going to get into the nitty gritty of why we're here today. So my first question is, what are you most excited about heading, further into your 20s? Because I know you guys are already at 20.
You still got a couple of months. I would say for me it's definitely the experiences. I mean, this is a new chapter. Like, people get married, people get their jobs, their careers, their homes. So I think that's, like, the thing that I'm most excited about, is just getting to experience all of those wonderful things.
I'm excited to get a house. I would love it if it's in God's will for me to just skip the whole renting business. I just want to be able to, be good with saving over and so I can, it's a little hard, but nothing, a little financial literacy classes and practices and accountability can't help. But I want to get a house before I turn 30, so that's what I'm looking forward to in my 20s.
Yes, I like
getting a house.
Now let's talking facts, y'all. For me, I'm most excited about growing spiritually, financially, in every area and aspect of my life. And I want to be happy, and I want to focus on friendships and family and life, and just, I definitely want that house before 32. So, All right,
the goal.
y'all. That's the goal, right? Okay, so do you find it challenging transitioning from adolescence to adulthood? And if so, what has been most difficult?
I would say, like, for me, because we are 20, like, of course, adulthood could be more than just 20. It's, like, 30s, 40s. But I think because we're 20, I feel like we're just in this, in the middle of, like, adolescence and adulthood. So I think, like, transitioning from that point is it's hard because, like, 2 years ago, like, we would be doing things that right now would look, like, weird. So I think for me, like, just trying to transition and, like, getting rid of those habits that don't look good right now could be difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, period. I feel like it's very difficult, like, a lot. Because just like she said, I still feel like 2 minutes ago, I was a freshman in college. Now I'm a junior. Like, what even
That's
is
crazy.
that? You know? So, and you know what? I feel like especially in terms of, like, parent-child relationships, it's like now that I'm, like, 20, my parents are like, all right, it's time. You gotta get it moving. And I'm like, whoa. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You know, I just turned 20. Like, let me breathe a little first. It's just there's a lot of pressure, and then society and culture goes into all that. Ugh.
Yeah, that's true.
I hear you guys, and you know we're about 8 months apart each. They're like they're Capricorns, they're January babies. I'm over here a little Libra.
10 days apart.
Yeah, they're 10 days apart.
Oh yeah.
And we're months apart. You know, so you know I'm basically 20, but I'm heading into my 20. 20. And what I find most challenging is like it's just the maturity aspect, like, you know, just becoming more mature. And it's strange because, like, as you said, like 2 days ago, like I'm remembering my sweet 16 like it was yesterday, you know. And just, as Amy said, like just your little childish moments, like that crossing over that bridge and transitioning into, like, you know, in the Bible it talks about leaving childish things behind, right? And becoming that, you know, man or woman, you know. Your life goes into different phases, and just phasing out from that. I want my mom, you know, and so that's what I would say. So my next question is, what has the college experience taught you about yourself?
For me, I think definitely time management. Time management skills is definitely the number one thing that it's taught me because it's very different from high school. So it was just a big reality check. So I'm still learning how to do that, but yeah, I would say time management for sure.
I would say, sorry, my answer's the same. Time management. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've gotten better at it over the years in terms of, like, my professional life. There was one position I held, and, like, I was known, believe it or not, I know they're not gonna believe me, but believe it or not, for a time in a professional position, I was the one who was, like, the early bird and, like, the on time. Yes, good. I was. And then I went downhill. And then I got up. So now it's like, I'm here. So don't get me wrong. I'm, you know, because, man, you don't know who's watching. Future employers out there, I'm great at time management.
Just throw that in there, you know?
Just throw that in there. I'm great, but, you know, you can always be better.
Yes.
So.
Yes. That is so true. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and say time management, too. And balance. It teaches you how to balance things. Like, especially with doing, you know, real estate and just, like, life, like, just having the balance between the three. But what it taught me is that it's not impossible, you know? As long as you have faith that it's going to work out, it's not impossible. You can do anything that you set your mind to. It's just how you go about it. Once you set your mind and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to accomplish this, I'm going to get my degree, I'm going to be everything that I want to be, you could do it. You just got to take the steps, right? I think it's also taught me how to step into leadership roles. You know, because at my school, we organized an event. Oh, I forgot to mention my side hustle. That's my side hustle. I love anything creative. I love party planning. I love graphic design. I love all that kind of stuff. As you can see. But, I had to step into this role where we did this open mic situation. And, you know, my mom back in the day, brief little story, my mom back in the day, she used to go to these open mic spots, and I thought this would be perfect to do at school. And so that went off with, you know, it went off.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's a wonderful experience being a part of, like, student faculty committee and stuff like that. Just, you know, as I said, stepping into that leadership role. So, let's roll into our next question, y'all. How has the big
What?
C-19, how has COVID-19 impacted your work ethic and mindset?
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Wow.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a very loaded question because there's so much to it. I think for me, like, the biggest thing is because during high school, like, that's when COVID hit. And, like, the way that we spoke with people was online, of course. So, like, for me, that was, like, the hardest part. Like, now when I'm in class, like, it's hard for me to talk sometimes or, like, raise my voice or anything like that. I'm still learning how to do that, so I challenge myself to raise my hand and participate. But for me, like, that was the hardest part in terms of, like, getting my work done. Like, because sometimes if we had group projects, that would be really difficult. Because I was always so used to just, you know, sitting behind a screen and everyone's camera's off. So I would say, like, for me, yeah, it was just, like, communicating with other people was the hardest thing. In terms of, what was it, the ethic?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, work ethic, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that.
For me, I think from that time, it was managing myself. I felt like that was, like, managing myself in terms of, like, senior year with everything being remote in high school. And we didn't have that structure of an in-person classroom. I really had to... We really had to learn the hard way, like, how to manage ourselves. And I feel like it was pretty good preparation for college, because that's what you do. But yeah, because you know, it's a big difference between high school and college in terms of how you're performing as a student. Yeah, so I think that was like a very new lesson for me in that respect. And I think I got the hang of it after a while.
I would say, as y'all mentioned, when COVID hit, we were like in junior year of high school, and like it carried over into our senior year, and the class that was like right before us, like they didn't get to have like their prom. I remember like a lot of stuff shut down. Like I was actually in the middle of being a part of my first opera with my high school, and like all the leads, I was a smaller character though because I was a junior, but like all the leads, I remember them crying and everything because COVID happened on the day of our performance. So we put all this work in, and then it shut down. Like everything literally shut down. And from that day on, just like it created a new world and a new space for us, in which I think it changed a lot. Especially for my procrastinators out there. COVID, yeah, deadlines weren't a thing at some point, you know, because you're in your homes, people were in their pajamas, like all kinds of craziness was going on. So I think it just changed how a lot of us view deadlines. You know, I think that was one big thing. And there's a little bit of a lack of structure I've noticed with you know, especially with our generation, like when it hit, because it hit like at a really strange age for people who were under 20 at that time. So I definitely think COVID has changed our mindset for the better in some cases and for the worse. But yeah, I think that's what I would say on that. Alright y'all, so on to my next question. What is an insult? This is an interesting one. What is an insult you received that you are most proud of?
Wow. Proud of. Okay, so what I would say for me, I mean, I don't consider it as an insult, but a lot of people say that I'm very, like, short. Like, sometimes, like, people joke around with that, and I don't take it as an insult because I'm very proud of my height. I am a proud 5 feet. And 4'11". 4'11". No, I am 5 feet. That is on my permit. It says 5 feet. So
that's right, girl.
So yeah, and you know, my family's like that. Love you, mom. Love you, dad. Love you, family. You know, they're all short, so I'm very proud to be that representation for them.
That's right, Tiny.
Yeah.
That's her nickname, y'all.
Yeah, she tiny whiny. So the best insult I ever received is that I'm a slow test taker. And what that means is that anytime during exams, from elementary school even to this day, I would use up all of the time that's ever been given for a test. Like, I'm talking, I would not waste a single second. And the reason why I say that that's the best insult is because, for one, I would translate being a slow test taker into being dumb or stupid, but I realized is that that's not what that means at all. What that means is that I'm thorough, I am detail oriented, and that's why I have a 3.7 GPA.
Yes. There you
so,
go.
Yeah.
That was great.
What about you, Kai?
I hear you, Bella, and I have a similar experience. I think like the best insult I've ever received is that I wasn't smart enough or wasn't good enough. And for me, for a very long time, it even sprinkles into now here and there. It's just like having this feeling of being mediocre, like, oh, you can never be like the cream of the crop. You can't be the top of the top in whatever area that I place myself in, and as I said, like with all the different things that I'm doing and stuff, it's that kind of feeling comes back sometimes. But the reason why I say it's an insult that I'm proud of is because the type of person that I am, when people tell me negative things, I use it to my betterment. I use it as a positive, and it kind of puts the gas in the car for me. And I'm like, you know what? And I'm gonna prove that I can do it, but not for you, for me. So I think that's why that's an insult that I'm most proud of. But yeah,
Nice.
funny question, but it's like an important one to ask.
Oh, it's cool. That's a cool
question,
question. I like it.
Yeah. So my next question: are you afraid of failure?
Okay, so I feel like I kind of fear it. I feel like that's just like a human feeling, like you're afraid, because to me, like, failure is like, people can associate that as like a setback. So like in some way I am a little bit afraid of failure because I don't want to be set back, but at the same time you can never avoid the bad things in life. And I think if you look at it at a positive light, like saying, okay, this failure, I can use it to better myself and learn from my mistakes, I think that's like a better way of looking at it. So I would say 50-50 because we're humans and we don't want to fail, but if you look at it at that light, then you don't have to be afraid of it.
I completely agree. I think I could hop onto this one too, is that I've often been so afraid of failure, and it's like a crippling fear sometimes, that I've stopped myself from doing things, and I've stopped myself from pursuing things. And like, I'm an ideas person, right? So like, left and right while I'm sleeping, like all times of the day I'm getting ideas. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I could do this. But I think that fear of it not working out is what stops me from pursuing things that I want to pursue. But I think someone once told me, you gotta fall, Kai, you gotta fall forward, you gotta fail forward. In life's not perfect, and in life you are gonna fail. You're gonna have your ups and your downs, you're gonna have your obstacles, but you have to keep moving forward, right? So it's one thing to just fail, but it's another thing to fail forward. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, for me, for a long time, I was afraid of failure. And I'm talking even to the point where whenever I would go ice skating, since I was so scared about falling, I would purposefully fall to get it out of the way. Okay, I already fell once, so the next time it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But over time, I realized that was not the way to go. That is not the way to go. And I have a different view of failures now. So similar to what you guys have been saying, I find failure to be a necessity as long as you learn from them and they don't repeat, and so in this day and age, in this season that I'm in right now, I'm not afraid. I can confidently say I'm not afraid of failure. I know that if it happens, my God is going to use it to grow me and to better me, and I know that whatever failure may be, I know that the success that's to come after that failure, according to however I react to that failure, is way better. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Amen.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a lot of people, we fail daily.
Yeah.
You know, even in the Bible it talks about we sin daily in thought, word, and deed.
Right.
So
And especially since like we're 20-year-olds, like I feel like in this moment specifically we're gonna fall a lot because it's like trial and error. So I think it is good to always like make sure that we're looking at failure as a positive thing because like I said, as 20-year-olds we're never going, it's not going to be inevitable basically. I mean, all our lives we're going to go through failure, but especially now because we're figuring things out, you know, we just got to keep moving and keep pushing.
Right, and we just can't be complacent.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. And it's funny because you know, Donnie McClurkin even has a song, "We fall down, but we get up." And I remember watching that video and I cried because I'm like, you know, that is so true. It's just like, there was a video, I think, it wasn't the original video of it, but there was a video someone did, like, walking upstairs and then falling back down. And it's just like, every time this person's trying to get to the top of the stairs, they fall down. But they get back up and they keep trying again and trying again and trying again. And that's the beauty of life. You know, every day that you wake up and God gives you another chance to keep going and keep striving, we fall and we get back up.
Yeah.
You know? All right, y'all. So my next question is, as a child, what were your career aspirations and have they changed? And if not, do you feel that you're moving closer to what you said you wanted to be?
Okay. So I remember when we were in elementary school, because we went to the same elementary school, I remember on the yearbook they asked us like what did we want to be when we grow up. And like I saw that I put singer there. And now like I want to continue with that and, you know, just build in my craft, I guess you can say. But it has changed. Even with like dermatology, that's something that recently happened. But I knew that when I was younger, you know, I always loved taking like making sure that people feel confident. And even like when I would do like, I don't know, like face masks on my sister or my dad or something, like they would love that and seeing like the results and how confident they felt. So for me, like that love in dermatology grew. So I want to do both. So I mean, right now I am getting a little closer to it. I have some goals and things that I want to accomplish in order to get to that point.
So for me, when I was a child, ironically, I wanted to be a teacher.
Ooh.
But then when I learned what their pay was, I said, to the no, no, no. And I was like headstrong on that. And people were trying to claim it on me like, oh yeah, I can see you being a teacher. You will make such a... I said no. I said no, I want a mansion, I want this, I want that, and I ain't gonna get it with teaching. But then...
I thought you were about to like do a whole bunch of rhymes. I was like, I was ready.
Not today. That's a different video, y'all. But then I remember it very clearly. Sophomore year, so this past year, in the fall, I had a class and we were watching a TED Talk from Chimamanda Adichie Ngozi. If you don't know her, you better search her up because she has amazing novels. A lot of her novels are focused on the perspective of an African versus an African American because it's different, and it's literature. It's fictional, and it's very good, very juicy. The tea is in them books, let me tell you. And it's anyway. So we were watching a TED Talk on Chimamanda Adichie, and she was talking about the importance of teaching the youth and how the reality is, you know, if you want to see change in the world, it not only starts with yourself, it really does happen with the youth. Because that is the future. We are the youth as well. We are the future. But there's something about, you know, shaping young minds, you know, in the way that they should go. You know? There's something about teaching them empathy, teaching them humanities. And when I saw that TED Talk in that class, I kid you not, it was like an epiphany moment. And I know that doesn't happen. And I was surprised it happened to me. I didn't think it was going to happen to me. But for some people, that's what happens. It was like an epiphany moment. I was like, I have to be a teacher. I have to be a teacher. Because that's you know, I want to do something that has like a lasting impact, you know? Yeah. And I figure I love English. And I always figured that English is definitely a gateway to teaching about humanities, you know, through literature. So, yeah.
That's nice.
I think that education is very important, and you're always learning. That's reality. You're always learning. No matter how far in your career you get, no matter what level of school you're at, you're not even in school, you're always learning, you know? So that's very important. And what you said about training up a child in the way that it should go, that's in the Bible again, y'all. Training up a child in the way that it should go so that when it's older, it doesn't depart from its ways. The older you get and the more mature that you get, we're in the phase right now that everything we're doing to shape who we are, right? And who we become. This is kind of like the blueprint, right? To the house that we're going to build, you know? So for me, I was... I wish I could insert a clip of my yearbook. Let's see if it'll happen. But we went to the same elementary school, same middle school, and we knew each other since we were like 10 years old, even younger. And it was very, very specific on my yearbook. I think they got it wrong. I don't even remember. But I know I wrote, I want to receive a doctorate degree in music. Wow. That's what I said. Elementary school? Well, here's the thing. My mom always taught me, like, I feel like I really appreciate the way that my mom raised me, because she raised me to believe that there was no limitations. However big I want to dream and however big I want to go, it's achievable. You just have to put in the work. And so my mom would always tell me, yes, you love to sing, but what are your goals? What are your aspirations? Since I was a baby, because I would have full-on conversations, like conversations with Khai. It started like at 1. I would have full-on conversations with my mama, and so she knew. She's like, I'm going to help her in whatever means necessary to get to where she needs to go. And she's always like, dream big, Khai. You want to sing, but what are you going to do? And I was like, I want a doctorate degree in music with one tooth in my mouth. They asked me on the microphone. Oh my gosh, we used to have like student of the month, and they lined us all up, and they're like, Khai, what do you want to be? And I'm there to list, I want to get a doctorate degree in music, you know? So, yeah, and of course that hasn't changed much. I'm on my way. And God willing, I'm going to get there. It's not easy. It's not easy at
music
all.
Theory.
Music theory is, it's not for the weak. So, by the grace of God, I'm going to get there. And I feel like I am, I'm sticking to that goal and that dream. But the dream is also expanding. And I'm happy about that. With all my other endeavors. My next question is, this one, it just had to come. Okay. This is for my queens. Anyway, what do you love the most about growing up in Queens?
Oh, that's a good question. For me, it's definitely like the diversity of it. Yes. There's so many cultures, and I love food so much. So I think that's like the best thing. Like New York and just in general, but in Queens specifically, there's so many different like kinds of cultures and foods. I love my Japanese food, so there's some good places there. But yeah, I think the culture, the diversity, it's awesome. There's always something to do all the time.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a second that. That's not my answer, but I just gotta second that because, y'all, the food.
Yeah. So
I love it. I could just go to the app, get me some chicken curry, you know, and then next thing I could go to Flushing and get me some sushi, you know, anything.
Ramen.
Yes. Or kimbap. I could get me some good kimbap.
I'm hungry now.
Yes. Yeah, man. Anyway, sorry, I just started
we got
thinking about
distracted.
that. Okay, anyway.
Foodies.
Or I can go to, my Auntie Lissa's house and get me some very good macaroni pie. That's right. Yes. Also, this one cooks, the other day she made some real good mushroom soup. Let me tell you, we still talk about that soup. That was weeks ago. We said, anyway. So what was the question? Oh, my favorite thing about Queens. My favorite thing about living in Queens.
It's the food.
No, but it's not the food. But it's very close. That's why I had to talk about it too. Okay, but my favorite thing about living in Queens is the convenience. I love the fact, I'm telling you, every time I travel somewhere like Jersey or anytime I travel in areas where it's like, there's not a bodega that's like 2 minutes away walking, it's not for me. And don't tell me in Queens, you could have the best of both worlds. You could have the $1 million houses, and you still got your bodega that's 2 minutes away, walk away.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You still got all your food places. You got TJ Maxx, even though I got beef with TJ Maxx. But
Oh, Lord.
Dang, that's all
I mean, no, I don't. But you get what I'm saying?
And I'm not cutting it. I'm not.
But you know what I'm saying? There's so much
Yeah.
convenience in most areas in Queens. And you know, that's there in Brooklyn too. But there's a different vibe in Brooklyn. I like Brooklyn though, don't get me wrong. That's number 2 on my favorite borough list. Because Brooklyn got the community.
Nice. Don't get mad at us.
Don't get mad.
Please.
Listen, my family, our family from Brooklyn. We get y'all. We get y'all.
Yes.
But listen, when you're born and raised in Queens, yeah, I love Queens.
Yeah.
So.
That was an awesome response.
I literally agree. Wow. I disagree because the Trini and me, it can't let it slide. Chicken curry chicken!
Oh!
Curry chicken! All my
Curry
Trinis
chicken,
unite
curry
in the
chicken.
comments. It's curry chicken,
Curry
okay?
chicken.
But I love what Amy said about the diversity because, yes, you got 3 girls here from Queens, right? To my right, it'll probably be to y'all's left. Guatemalteca, El Salvadorian.
So that's
okay.
right.
To
Yes.
my left, okay, Guyanese and Dominicana. Okay. And over here in the middle, Trinidadian, American, mixed up with a whole lot of other stuff. 'Cause
Yeah.
once you Trini, you everything in the whole globe.
That's right.
Right, but just the food and the culture, the diversity, it really shapes who you are. Like, you know, even as you were small little girls, like, of course, now I know Spanish, and I have this love for Spanish because my best friends are Latinas, right? And vice versa. Amy is Hispanic, and she's there in school, and she's like, can I use the bathroom? Like, she is like a straight up tree.
Yeah.
You know, and same with Isabella. Like, every minute I'm saying, oh, shucks. Oh, shucks.
That's from my Auntie Leonie.
You know, and so so yeah, there's just that blending in of culture. It's such a beautiful thing. And you know, Queens, it's the biggest borough in all of New York, and it's the most diverse. There's so many languages. I don't want to drop how many languages, I'm not really sure, but it's so much personality. It's just so rich and real. I feel like you know somebody from Queens, they're gonna tell you what's up, and they're gonna tell you the truth.
It's like
you know?
the real version of Manhattan. Because Manhattan is
Wait. We love Manhattan too.
We love Manhattan. We love Manhattan.
Disclaimer, I am a realtor.
Manhattan
And I
is so
love
nice.
all boroughs equally.
Yeah.
Equally.
That's right.
All right, y'all. So on to my next question. This kind of ties into our love for Queens and New York in general. Just kind of put that out there. What is your relationship like with your parents? And how has your culture and upbringing molded you into the person that you are today?
Okay, so thankfully, my relationship with my parents is really, really good. I mean, I've learned so much from them. I mean, of course, there's always going to be hiccups, like just with every like relationship you have in life. There's always going to be, you know, hardships. But in general, I have really good relationship with them, and I feel like in terms of like culture and my upbringing, I would say because I am Hispanic, so Guatemalan, like you said, Salvadorian. I don't know. When I was growing up, I always felt very insecure about like my wavy hair. As you can see, I'm like pulling it off right now. And but when I was younger, it was really hard for me. So, you know, I just learned as I was growing up just to appreciate my culture. Even speaking in Spanish too, I was also very like embarrassed with that as well. And I also never understood like why it was so important. And my mom always emphasized like, you know, I should always learn how to speak Spanish because it brings a lot of opportunities, and I can communicate with my family like more efficiently. So I feel like now I'm really just trying to appreciate my culture and like my curls and just my Hispanic features and not feel ashamed about it because that's who I am, and I want to embrace that.
I love that.
Yeah. So my answer is a little bit similar to that, in that growing up, first and foremost, my relationship with my parents are pretty good. I praise God for that because it could always be way worse. And growing up, my mom, she always stressed that my sister and I spoke correct English so that we wouldn't have to deal with the stupidity that she dealt with, which is people assuming that you're not intelligent because you don't speak, you know, the original vernacular of English. Well, no, not that's incorrect, sorry. But if you don't speak that correct English, which basically means that all other vernaculars of English are dumb or wrong, right? So all those vernacular of Englishes can include like broken English is what they would say. So for example, there's a new term for it. I forgot the acronym. African American something, but it used to be called Ebonics. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's AAVE. I think that's what it is.
African American Vernacular English.
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
That's right. And it used to be called Ebonics. People are offended by that. I don't know why. Anyway, so that also Englishes from different cultures outside of the U.S., like Englishes from countries in Africa, Englishes from Caribbean cultures, Creole, English Creole, which is one of the ways that they call Guyanese English. So all of those Englishes are considered to be incorrect. So anyway, my mom, the English she was talking about was Brooklyn English. And she really stressed that. Anyway, growing up, going to middle school, you probably know about this, but going to middle school, they would always call me an Oreo because although I looked black, I was white on the inside because I spoke correctly, right? Because I didn't speak with slang, because my mom really did stress that on us. And going into college and being able to take critical race theory courses and ethnic studies, for one of my projects, I did an interview with my mom where I asked her, I said, Mommy, why did you do that? Did you know this? And that conversation was really interesting because although I understand where she was coming from, I've grown to realize that, vernaculars of English are beautiful, each in their own way, and they're not incorrect, they're not wrong, there are different ways of expressing yourself. They show the beauties of different cultures, they give their different flavors, and so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
I learned a lot.
Yeah.
That was good.
I would definitely say I have a wonderful relationship with my family in general. I'm fortunate, to have had an upbringing, because I'm an only child, right, where I felt love all around. I will say that, both sides of my family. But I would definitely say my strongest relationship and bond is with my mom. She's single parent, and I'm so grateful because it's always been us, from since I was a little girl. And of course you have your little fights and your quarrels with your mama. It's inevitable. But me and my mom, I could really say we're thick as thieves. And after the Most High, that is my bestest friend. Is my mama. She's my day one, and she really made it important for me to travel the world. And she made it her business for me to see everything, and to experience everything. And I think that definitely shaped my mind and how I think about things and how I view people, how I speak to people. I think that definitely had a positive impact on me at such a young age, because she has like flown me almost everywhere, like since I was like 4 years old, right? Seeing the world. And I definitely think, especially living in a place as diverse as Queens, it opens up your mind to see people in a different way. And yeah, I would definitely say that, just my culture, being Trinidadian, and connecting to that, and also, my American side and connecting to that, and just it gives you a sense of self in a way, and a feeling a part of something. And as you guys said, my mom loves to cook, and being able to share that with my friends has always been awesome. I think the neighborhood that we live in, especially, I know school together, and we all went to middle school together, and that's how we became friends. But the neighborhood that we live in, I think it was we never shied away from our cultures, because there were so many at that point. It's like everybody was proud to be what they are, and I'm a little bit of this and a little bit, I got a little Asian in me, y'all, you know. And so yeah, I just think as a whole, family is an important thing, culture is an important thing, and just being able to share that with others and experience others cultures is a wonderful thing to have in life.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's my stance on it. So my next question. My next question is, all right, I'm a realtor, y'all.
Okay.
So I have to ask. At what age do you plan on buying your first home? And who will be your realtor in said transaction?
Okay.
No pressure.
So, I mean, of course, I think it's good to dream big. I mean, nothing is impossible. The sooner the better. But I would say for now, based on how I'm seeing things, I would love to get my first home when I have my career. So hopefully by the age of like 25 or so, I would love to. And of course, I would ask my best friend. This is why friends who want to work hard, have good goals, and, you know, want to dream big, when you have a set of friends that just are doing great things, you have these connections, and I'm really proud of her. So yeah, I would ask her.
Oh, sorry.
Headphones. I forgot we had headphones. Yeah, but I would definitely ask Khai, the realtor. No, that's genuine though. Yeah.
Thank you.
For me, I would say by 30, just to give myself time for trial and error. Yeah. But I would love it if I could have my first house by 25, but I'm going to tell myself by 30, because I know I have a long way to go in terms of being financially literate and putting in that work ethic to make it happen for myself, you know, and for my future kids and all that, you know. So yeah, that's what and of course, you know, you already know you're gonna be in the process and be like, hi, it's happening. Let's go.
Yes. Oh, and I'll be ready. Just fill out the form. Okay. For me, I will be involved in many transactions. Amen. Thank you, Lord. And I will be ready to buy my first house when God says I'm ready to.
Amen.
And, you know, stay tuned. All right, y'all. So we're going to move on to my next set of questions. All right. What does generational wealth mean to you?
Okay, so I think generational wealth is just like the financial assets that you just pass down from family to family, like family generations. So like cash, investments. Shout out to my brother. He taught me a lot of this.
Hi, brother.
He is very into these things, and I am so grateful for him. So yeah, that's generational wealth. That's what it means to me.
Yeah, to me, generational wealth means the exact same thing. You're passing down to your posterity what you earned, what you received, and it doesn't just have to be monetary. That could also include wisdom. That can also include character. It doesn't just have to be material things.
I like that.
And it's very much so, it's valuable just the same, if not more.
I'm so proud of my friends.
Thank you.
I took the words right out of my mouth, you know. I completely agree. I think you guys hit the nail on the head. I love what you said about character, and about, you said it doesn't have to just be about wealth, right? And I love that. Passing down, and we're going to get into my next question. Of course, as a realtor, I'm going to say passing down your assets, passing down investment, and that's something that, you know, it's been said before. Right? We could say it again, but, you know, yeah. That's definitely what generational wealth means, but I think what's most important is passing down a mindset. Passing down financial literacy and financial stability practices to set your children up so that when they receive that wealth, when they receive that house, that they know what to do with it. That it's not going to be out of their control. You understand? And it's the same thing with life insurance and things of that nature. Securing your family's legacy, but teaching those who come after you how to secure that, how to pass the torch. You know, that's very important. I think that's something that's not talked about as often.
Yeah.
You know, it's Naki over here. I hope I said his name right. But guys, this is Rich Dad Poor Dad. I know my OGs know about this book, but this is definitely a good read if you are someone looking to get into personal finances, especially in your 20s, and you want to just learn, just become a little more financially literate. He has the goods. But I want to read an excerpt from this book, if that's okay with y'all.
Of course.
Okay, so he states, one of the reasons the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and the middle class struggles in debt is that the subject of money is taught at home, not in school. Most of us learn about money from our parents, so what can poor parents tell their child about money? They simply say, stay in school and study hard. The child may graduate with excellent grades, but with a poor person's financial programming and mindset. Let's dig into that one, y'all. Okay. So my question, based on what we just read, do you think financial literacy and financial independence has become a priority in our generation? I'll let whoever wants to take that on.
I think yes, it has become a priority in our generation. Because what I've noticed is a lot of kids in our generation.
Okay.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
I have an idea
If
now.
you notice on a lot of these, you know, a lot of the content that's out there nowadays, coming from Gen Z, a lot of it is like, oh, side hustle this, side hustle that. Oh, know how to do this and that and that. And it's like, in a way, it's coming across as like smart and legal life hacks, you know? But then you think about it, it's not actually life hacks. It's just, it's literally, it's a literacy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's something that you should already know, but they're not teaching it to us in school, you know? I think, yeah, I think that we have prioritized that, yeah.
I would agree now that I thought about it more, because like in our generation we have like the biggest tool, which is like the internet.
Yeah.
I feel like as long as you put, I mean, I think it's bad. I feel like schools should be teaching those things, but we have that tool, and if you know you want to learn more, you have that there. And I like, even like on TikTok, Instagram, all these social media platforms, like you see like adults or young adults our age who are using this to their advantage to like get out of that mindset that they learned from their parents, if it like is a poor mindset, or you know. So yeah, just growing from there on.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think my take on it is this. I believe, yes, financial literacy has become a priority in our generation, but just speaking a little on the other generations and you know, giving them credit where it's due, I would definitely say that the generation that came before us, right, so we're Gen Z, right, the millennials, and then we got Generation X, which is our parents, and then we got the baby boomers, which are their parents, right, and all of that kind of stuff, right? And so when you think, I could just maybe talk for our parents. I mean, my grandfather, he's owns a business, and he built that like on his own blood, sweat, and tears, you know, and that business has been running for years, right? But in my mom's case, I know she was really taught like with what it talks about in the book, with that idea of go to school, get good grades, become a doctor. That is something that is like, yeah, that is in a Caribbean house. It's go to school, get good grades, become a doctor or a lawyer or marry a doctor or a lawyer. You know, like that is definitely a big thing. And I think their mindset, and I can't speak for all, but for the many that I know, they were taught that. They were taught, you go to school and you study hard to get a good job. But I don't think much was talked about after that.
Right.
It wasn't, well, when you get the job, here are the savings practices that you're going to follow, da-da-da-da. Whereas now our parents, well, at least with my mom, I know she had me at 12 years old opening up a bank account and understanding how to save my money and things of that nature. And then watching my grandpa and owning a business, it's just like I had more access, and we have more reach as time goes on. And then the generation that's coming after us is going to have even more access, God willing, right? And so what is just so interesting, what was so special about the middle school that we went to, we had different academies, right? And it really, what it was like a breaking up of the school. It's like sections, right? But a lot of people thought, because our sections were called Law and Justice, which Amy and Bella were a part of, and I was a part of Media, and then there was a science portion, right? And this was Ryan Middle School. I hope I could drop that name on there. It's 216.
I mean, we're not there no more. So.
Yeah, MS 216. It was definitely a wonderful school. We had many black principals at that school, and I feel blessed to have gone there. I feel like I've learned a lot from that experience, and it was just a wonderful time in my life, right, being in middle school. Anyway, I was a part of Media, and Media's approach, I don't think a lot of people realized it, but to me, the way that they taught in the sections were very different. Because I had the experience of being in both for a little bit of time. But if y'all went to Ryan, comment down below and let us know what y'all think. But anyways, y'all, yeah, I think, well, I was in Media, and a very interesting thing happened to me at that school. So that's a story for another day. But I wanted to stay in Media, obviously. But I was a part of this program called IGC. And they taught us, the way they taught us, we did like Shark Tank projects in the auditorium, where we had to build a company and use Canva, and that's why you guys know I'm like a Canva whiz at this point. I know you see my Instagram, it's a lot of Canva. But I was in the 7th grade learning how to create a logo and ironing the logo on my shirt. Like, I think if you go to my page and you see like a throwback Thursday, you see me dressed as Michelle Obama. We had like this night museum, living museum, wax museum kind of thing, whatever it was called. But we had to learn to do these things. We had to develop these skills. We were definitely in a time and space where the internet was heavily influencing how we learned, and so that's why we're able to get on these platforms and know what to do. And when you put a camera in front of many of us, we know how to work and how to shine and what to do. You know what I'm saying? So I think my long answer to that question is just, yeah, we have more access, and I think that's why it has become a priority for us. While we're still on this topic of finances, I'm going to move on to my next question, and that is, what do you think is the cause of a lack of financial freedom in our community?
Well, for me, this is like the main thing, like my main problem is just self-control. I think now, especially like with social media, we get very influenced. We see like, people are bragging about their cars, about all these things, and that's good. I think that's good purchases. But sometimes if you're really irresponsible with it, you get influenced. For me, it's makeup for sure. So that, you go to Sephora, that's it. That's really bad for me. So I think just like a lack of self-control, maybe a lack of direction as well. I think those are the two things. There's a lot, but that would be my main two things.
I want to piggyback on what you just said, but that's called just capitalism. It's not just the self-control part. It's more so like brain control part. Feel me? Because in this society, we are heavily influenced to believe that if something is on sale, we must get it. We have to buy it. Yeah. Otherwise, we're gonna miss our chance and this and that. And you know what? It's true. In a lot of cases, it's true. But if you go to other countries, I guarantee you, their systems are not in that way. And those systems are made purposely to keep, especially specific people, under that lack of financial freedom. The systemic foundations in place in this society and in America that are intentionally trying to keep specific groups of people in poverty in order to keep a specific group of people on top, in order to keep a specific group of people at the 1% in the hierarchy of finance, in the hierarchy of wealth. And we cannot shy away from the fact that that is very much so racially driven. And that is, to me, that is the number one, because there are a lot of different aspects that fall under that question, but that is the number one answer to that question. That's the number one cause of the lack of financial freedom. And then, of course, it goes into, because those systems of oppression can be really heavy, then people start to believe that they can't do it. People start to believe that they're not meant for that it's just not in the cards for them, which is not the truth. Although you're being systemically oppressed, you can still achieve the goals that you want to achieve. You can become 1%. It is not impossible. You can become 1%, but it's going to take a lot more work for you than it is for the other person who is in the group of people who is in that group of people that follow with me. Who is in the group of people that the group of people behind the scenes of the systemic oppression intend to rise. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. It's gonna be harder for us. Just say that. But it doesn't mean that we can't do it. It does not mean that we can't do it, because we are more powerful than we think.
Yeah, I definitely think that's powerful. And I think, looking at it from another lens, what we talked about with financial literacy, right? And so, as long as you hold the tools, right, and the skills to become aware of something that's happening to you, then you can counteract it.
Yeah.
But the issue is when you don't know.
That's
you
right.
Follow along. You do what has been passed down to you. You follow what everybody is saying. You follow the person who's telling you what to do. And that's it, because you're not aware. So I think the importance is education. Like, I'll just keep saying that. Education.
People
it's
perish
important.
for a lack of knowledge.
People perish for a lack of knowledge, correct. And I think that, that's a big thing. It's a big thing, just not knowing.
Right.
And I think that's why this happens. In many cases, it's just not having access to, not having access to the tools to get yourself, out of something. And it's like, I saw this post about, it was something along the lines of, and I can barely remember it now, but it's something along the lines of, the man is hungry, right? And you give him fish, right, to eat.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah, you give him a fish.
You're sustaining his hunger for the day.
Yeah.
But then if you teach him how to fish, you're sustaining his hunger for a lifetime. You understand what I'm saying? So I think the important part is teach people how to be financially free. And then financial freedom is achievable.
But then, on the flip side now, it's also important for people to be more than okay with being learners, because you need to seek and you'll find. Because for a lot of people's cases, you're right, they're not going to have access to the tools that they need in order to succeed financially and to gain that financial literacy. But you know what? God gives them two legs. God gives them, hopefully, a working mind. It doesn't mean they can't get those tools. It doesn't mean that they can't, find those tools, So, it goes both ways at the end of the day.
Definitely. All right, y'all, so moving on to my next question. Okay. My mom has this saying, and I know it's in the... Mom, is it in the Bible? I think it's in the Bible. It's in the... We're going to reference the Bible a lot. God is always in it. Okay, so my mom always says this thing: show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Is that a family thing, or is that in the Bible? It's a family thing? Okay, I think it's a family thing. Correct me if you guys know this saying, let me know where the source is.
The word does talk about corrupting good character with the people that you're around.
I know it's in there. We gotta go scripture hunting and figure it out. Yes, so show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. So my question is, what does the company you keep say about you?
I would say for me, I mean, of course, there is a lot that... I'm going to say, like, the company I have with, like, you guys, for example. Of course, like, there is a lot that I have to learn, that we all have to learn. But the one thing I will say is that we always want to think big and dream big. And I feel like we always... although there are hiccups sometimes, of course, like 20-year-olds. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
I just love that we have this drive. And I think to me, that's like the company that I want to keep around, is people who are driven. And even if like, you know, there are setbacks, that we just keep going, we keep pushing, and that we encourage each other. Because to me, that's the most important thing. So having a group that wants better for each other is key to success.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, ditto. So in terms of the company I keep being, you guys, I would say that you guys have really impacted me to be spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally fit. And I feel like that's really, really important, and especially nowadays in these last days. You really need to be fit in all of those categories because, yeah, you gotta learn how to fight demons, you know? Yeah, and so I really appreciate the fact that God led me to choose this company right here, because God knows if I hadn't given my life to Him, who knows? Who flipping knows? Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I feel so loved.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I have a funny story.
Uh-oh.
When I was in kindergarten, I had this friend of mine now. She came up to me and she goes, "Can we be friends?" And the normal answer to a question like that is sure, you know, and then people will be making friendship bracelets and the whole nine, but that's not what I said to her. I said to her, "I would love to be your friend, but I'll get back to you tomorrow on whether or not we can be friends, because I'm going to go home and ask my mom, and then I'll let you know what she says." And she spoke to me years later. She's like, "Khai, do you remember saying that to me?" And I was like, "Yep, I do." But all that to say, my mom definitely made it a point for me to understand that who I surround myself with, it definitely tells a story of who I am, right? And like, Bella cannot speak for me, right? Who I am as a person. Amy cannot speak for me, but as friends, you're passing on traits, you know. And the more you see each other, there are things that she's gonna do that I adapt to, or things that I'm gonna do she adapts, vice versa. And you have to be very careful with the energies that you're bringing around yourself, right? And what you're letting into your inner circle, right? And so it's you always wanna bring friends around you that are going to help you achieve success, right? And it's going to help you elevate and bring you to a level that you're being, right? So to let God's light shine through you, right? So that men may see and glorify the Father. Because, you know, Jesus was very particular with his disciples, who he chose to be around him, right? Why was it that specific 12?
And it didn't mean that they were perfect.
Exactly, because, look, one of them betrayed him. But in another aspect, that same person who betrayed him, the same disciple that denied him 3 times, there were traits in them that Jesus saw fit for them to be in such a time as that.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Yeah, and to be in that season with him. And so it's just, you know, one of my friends told me, like, if you, and I know it's the same too, if you are the smartest person in the room, then you're doing something wrong. You need to dream bigger. Right? And like I said before, you always need to be learning. So it's very important, especially in this day and age. And it's not to say you want to break away from childhood friends and things. Listen, we've been friends for 10 years we've been friends, right? And it's like, you know, it's hard sometimes breaking away from certain things, but certain people, gotcha. Some people are in. My cousin Anisa, hi Anisa, love you girl. My cousin Anisa said this to me. Some people will, she said it with her Trinity accent. Some people, darling, will be in your life for a season, a reason, and a lifetime.
Yeah.
And that's powerful.
Okay, Anisa. Yeah.
Right? Hi, Nisa. Hi, Naeem. Hi, Trinity family. I hope you guys are watching. Love you guys. But, and congratulations, Nate, on graduating. But yeah, just have to throw that in there. Anyway, but yeah, and so that's a very important thing to know. Who are your seasoned friends? Who are your recent friends? And who are your lifetime friends? You know, you got to sit down and ask yourself that. And on the top of that board needs to be, where do I see myself? Where do I want to be? And are the people that are around me getting me closer to that point or pushing me back? Mm-hmm. Because friends will lead you, but they might not always bring you back. So you need those friends that are going to come with the rope. They're not going to jump in the hole with you if you're in the hole, But they're going to take the rope and throw it down so you can pull yourself up and keep the train rolling. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's definitely an important part, right? Yeah. I feel like we can't talk about our 20s without talking about dating. Mm-hmm. So what are your personal views on dating in your 20s?
Yeah, I feel like going into your 20s, you're going to meet a lot of people. And I think it's really important because a lot of people during this time, and I feel like a lot of their time in their life, you feel this pressure of like finding that person. And I think like for someone who feels that way, just remember to always just take your time with it and always just find that person that is on your level and that will elevate you, and just follow your boundaries. And everyone is at different paths with that, so just take your time and love will find you.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. My grandma says, take your time and peel your pine.
Peel it, no, peel it.
Peel it, because there's a big difference between love and infatuation, and the real love that you're looking for in a relationship with a person, where the source is from God, at least that's according to my beliefs, it takes longer to find, but infatuation is really easy to find. So we don't have to go looking for that, Yeah. We can take our time, do you, do you, elevate yourself, and watch you see, because, how does that saying go? Like, the energy you give off is the energy you attract. Mm-hmm. So what I've been learning so far is that as long as I keep focusing on elevating myself, growing myself in God, then I'm not gonna need to look. God is gonna send my man my way.
Amen.
Right? Mm-hmm. And the man that checks off all the boxes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
I love that. I think that here's my view on dating. I mean, I'm no expert at all, but I've always had an interesting take on this. Like, since I was young, like I was never really in the dating scene at all, like that. Most, it goes back to how I was raised and stuff. And my mom definitely wasn't strict at all. I was strict. Like, my friends would call me the granny. I'm keeping everybody in check. No, don't do this. No, don't do that. Yabba, yabba, yabba. But for me personally, I would say dating in your 20s, or at least in my 20s, what that would look like is getting to know myself, getting to know yourself. I think that's an important thing. That's an important thing, because once you have a better understanding of who you are and you build yourself to a certain point, because you can't necessarily say you want X, Y, and Z. I want my husband to be this, that, and the third, right? And you haven't built your, you get what I'm saying, right? Mm-hmm. To be able to handle that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want your husband to be this boss person that doesn't make any mistakes, da 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 da. And now I've heard so many times, no, like this dream guy that you're looking for, it's not real. It doesn't exist. You need to just get what's there. And it's like telling people, like, you can't have it. What's wrong with having a preference about things? You understand? Like, you go to the ice cream shop, you want your strawberry ice cream, that is on you, boo. That is on you. But if you have certain things, we always remind each other, all three of us, don't settle.
Yeah.
Know what you want and don't settle.
Right.
In life, in general, with your career goals, with relationships, family, don't settle for less than what you want. Always dream big and think big, and that will come to you. And I believe that God is definitely the first being that you need to consider when you're making a decision like that, because I know for us girls it gets hard sometimes, because especially with insecurities and bodies and all this kind of stuff, and like Instagram and social media, all that, it's tough sometimes. But just know you don't want to jump into anything just cause. And it's okay if you fall. We talked about failure. It's okay if you fall, but just know, get back up and focus on you. So that would be my view on dating, is just figure yourself out before you try to figure out anybody else, because we're in a crucial time in life right now. But yeah, so that's my answer.
Well, a great answer. I agree.
All right, y'all. So my next question, I believe this is one of the most important. It's the most important one. How does your faith impact your success?
Ooh, okay. So for me, I think like success is all about just putting yourself in a position to grow. Like, you know, and that means like doing things differently, being in uncomfortable situations in order for you to get out of your shell. And for me, that's really hard sometimes. I do get anxious sometimes when I'm like put in a situation like that. And I know like we always say like, you know, that we should not have a spirit of fear, but just of a sound mind, like peace, you know. We can't be fearful. So like through my faith, it has helped me to not be afraid and just to be confident with the Lord, you know, through that journey of success. So that's, it has helped me a lot. And it still is.
Period.
Thank you.
Period. So my answer is on Kai's cup.
Ooh.
She believed she could, so she did.
Yes, amen.
Thank you, Miss Mindy. I hope you're watching.
Oh, okay. So I agree with what Amy said. I truly believe that it takes faith to achieve success, and it does depend on what your faith is in. I know for me, I do believe in having a relationship that's founded in God, in the Most High God, and knowing that you're covered. You know, when you fall, God still provides you with legs to get back up, you know? When you fail and you have your moment of tears, God provides you with a shoulder to cry on, you know? Words of encouragement to keep going, and words of wisdom, words of truth, so that you don't make the same mistakes again. Faith without works is dead. So I also really think that you cannot talk about faith without talking about works. When it comes to success, or when it comes to anything regarding faith, right? So yeah, that's my answer.
Yes, love that.
Love that. Oh, you know I love to talk about the Most High. For me, and for us, I know he needs to be your foundation, and he needs to be your covering. He needs to be your everything. And he needs to be all about and around, and I'm not afraid to say it. You know, he's in everything that I do. He made me. He made this world. And yeah, and so he needs to be mentioned, right? And be given the utmost reverence as the creator. I've come across this pastor on YouTube. Her name is Pastor Stephanie Ike. And I've been watching a lot of her videos recently. She just had like this series on YouTube about what was it? It was like witchcraft, like practice, modernization of witchcraft, right? Yeah. And they all, you know, there was a lot of great points, but I think something that definitely stood out to me, because she talks about from business to even music and everything, and it was just so much revelation I was getting from watching her. And one thing that she says in like almost all of the videos, she talks about God being her God, right? But like first being her father. That's her first interaction with God. And wow, I connected to that so heavy, because that is literally how I felt growing up as a small little girl. Like my mom would always say that he's in this household, like he is the head of household. And she would always say, like, she would have to discipline me because he's watching me, and so I lived my life like that. I lived my life where I know he's watching me, and even in the moments that you think people can't see, right? I would always know, you're there, you know, and you know, my question was about faith, and it's funny because it has so many different meanings, right? But when you look at it as faith, it's like you can't see him, but you know he's there, right? So it's I don't want to get this wrong, but I know it says faith is the substance of things hoped for, right? And the evidence of things not seen.
Yes.
Right? So many times in my life where I felt him and I know he's there. And I know he impacts my success because I've seen, you know, I have countless stories of where God has intervened on my behalf, right? In so many different things. And you just, you know, I know for a fact that when you put your faith in him and your trust in him, everything will work itself out. You know, even the things that you think, it has to go this way, it has to go this way, he has a plan for you. And know that his plan is worth so much more than anything you could draft up and think of. You understand? Like, knowledge is recycled. And you got to know what that's, as you said, what your source is. What are you putting your faith in? What are you putting your trust in? And knowing that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, because greater is he that is in me than whatever else is going on in the world.
Right.
And so I would say Abba has a big impact on my life. But I think it's definitely a big part of who I am. So, yeah. Amen and amen. So if you've seen the title of this podcast, honey, and you've seen the title of this episode, you know I have to, and you know my slogan, you know I have to ask, what is your definition of a boss person?
Ooh, I love that question. I would say someone who is confident and very sure of themselves and their own decisions. And that, you know, they don't rely. I mean, I think it's good to have input of like other people's opinions and stuff, but at the end of the day, they're really sure of like who they are and what they do. So I think, like, to me, like, that is a boss person.
Yeah, I agree 1000%. I feel like confidence is definitely key. And confidence and also humility. Because you cannot become a boss if you're not humble enough to know where you need to grow.
I was gonna say confidence, not cocky.
Yes.
I was gonna say that part too, but I was like, oh, I forgot about that. But for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I feel like what makes a boss is confidence, humility, wisdom, and good intentions.
Yes.
I feel like that's what makes a boss.
Being a good person.
Yeah, you want to be respectable, you know? Yeah.
I agree. So you said confidence, wisdom,
humility.
Was there a fourth one? Run that back, Turbo. Good intentions.
Being a good person.
Mom always says it with the whispers in the back. And the last thing, Mom's over here holding up her L sign. And that's not the L that you think. No. It's leadership.
That's right.
And with leadership comes, well, my grandpa always says, hi, Grandpa, love you.
Hi.
Listening.
Yes.
Listening to
That's
others. Good. Not, you know what I mean by listening. It's if you're going to lead a pack, you have to listen to what the group needs.
Yeah.
Right? And then you apply the wisdom.
Right.
You apply the confidence. You apply the humility. And these are all things that you need to say that you're a boss person. I remember the first time, I think I said boss people. It's so funny. Hi, Uncle Kenny. I hope you're watching. But my Uncle Kenny, he goes by Ken the Lender on Instagram. He's a mortgage broker, right? And he's like been doing his thing for some time now. And I remember him like posting up when I first got like real estate and stuff like that. And I remember him saying like something. He's like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you, Khai." And I don't think he knows, but I think this is when I started using the term boss people. I said to him, Uncle Ken, you know, I definitely learned from boss people like you, right? Wow. And that is, I think that is like the main reason why I call everybody boss people, right? Is because growing up, there were so many people in my life, my mom, my grandpa, there were so many, my grandma with her business background, right? With her degree in business. There's just so many mentors I've been blessed, you know, to be around. Jasmine Lee, Claudia Hibbert, Sheila Pizzo, Vincent Koo, the Shepherd-based team with Primerica, Miss Baskerville. There's just so many mentors I've had in my life that I just when I see them, I know they're a boss in their craft and in their own right. So it's like, you know, a boss doesn't mean that you have this amount of money and this amount. It's a mentality. It's a mindset.
Yes.
It's an ongoing thing. It's something that you're continuously building. When you say that you're a boss, it doesn't mean that you have it all figured out every day. You know, but it means that you're working towards that. You're humble, invite wisdom every day. You're, you know, portraying leadership quality. I think, you know, bossing up it's to put it in one word, it's just elevating to the highest degree. There are all these different people, right? You're just watching boss up in their own way. It's just it's amazing to see.
Yeah.
And everyone watching this, you are a boss in your own right, and I believe that you will continue to boss up.
Yes.
So anyways, and on to my next question, y'all. What advice can you give to other 20-year-olds like us and teens about going into adulthood?
Okay. It's a very loaded question. There's a lot. I would just say, like, the number one thing, and something that I struggle with, but I always try to remind myself, is just to focus on my own path. Like, not really comparing, and it's really hard, because, like, we have the internet, we have social media, it's so hard to, like, compare yourselves to other people and, like, what they're doing. I think we should, like, change that and use that as motivation rather than, like, comparing yourself and be like, oh, I don't have this, like, and like, being mean to yourself and putting yourself down. It should be a way to motivate you. But at the end of the day, I think it's really important just to follow your own path and see what you need instead of just always worrying about what other people are doing and what they're achieving. Especially, like, as 20-year-olds, we're figuring things out. So that's really hard, but, you know, I think it's just important just to focus on what we need to do.
Yeah, I agree with you, Amy.
Thank you.
I think a piece of advice that I would give to teens and other 20-year-olds who are growing up just like us is when we fall, we get back up.
Yes.
Do not stay down. Do not stay in your bed for more than what your body requires of you. We need to be diligent. And I've watched this video. I think her name is Kensani, something. I think I sent it to you guys. And she was talking about how to exit your lazy era.
Oh,
And
I think you did.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And one of the things she was talking about is whenever you...
Oh, I said that to you. Shoot.
Oh, shucks. Well, you must have sent it to me, but I searched... I forgot what I searched up, but it came up on my feed. Sorry, I didn't press it when you sent it to me that time.
You never did.
No, I do. Excuse you, I do. But for whatever reason, that time I did not. So it came up on my feed when I was going through stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
And one of the things, so then maybe you'll remember what I'm about to say. One of the things that she mentioned is how you can exit your lazy era is when you have stuff that you need to do, don't wait to be motivated. Don't do it because you're motivated to do it. Do it because you know it has to be done.
Yeah.
And at first, when she said, I was like, really? But don't you, like, want to do things when you know why you're doing it? Yes, but our actions cannot be situational. Our actions cannot depend on our emotions because our emotions trick us a lot of times.
Yeah.
So, I would say, yeah, we need to be diligent, especially when we don't feel like being diligent. We have to work hard because, you know, you reap what you sow. And if you want to sow a lot, if you want to reap a lot, you got to sow a lot. And it's worth it. And also, we really need to be humble. I know for me, ever since I was a kid, I always thought I knew everything. My parents will tell you. I thought I knew everything. My mom would say, it's going to rain today.
Born with a briefcase and a
Born with a
mission.
briefcase and with the stink eye. And my mom would tell, I remember this one time, my mom was like, it's going to rain today. I said, no, it's going to be sunny. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. I was right. But I am not right all the time at all. I'm really not. And I think yeah, humility is definitely a big one for kids our age, because I feel like I'm not alone. I feel like there's a lot of us in our generation who, like, we really think we know it all. I've talked to people in our generation who was like, you know what's interesting? Like, let's talk about generational differences. I feel like it's very interesting how we are smarter than our parents. And I was like, girl, backtrack. No. No, don't do that. Don't do that, because that is not true. And that's a whole different conversation. But anyway, diligence, humility, and ambition. Ambition. Yeah. Somebody told me I think too small, and I want to recognize my potential and my abilities, and I can achieve way higher than I even think. Because I bear the image of a God who created all things, who can do all things. I'm his daughter. I too can do all things. I'm not God, but I am his daughter. And so I need to recognize, you know, my potential. All of us do. All of us do. Yeah.
Amen.
I definitely agree. And just to put the cherry on top of that, the advice that I would give us 20-year-olds and those of us going into our 20s is to be intentional with your word. And I think that's definitely something that I've gotten from reading the 4 Agreements. That's a book that was recommended for me to read, and I think it's such a good read. It's important for us to read. And just knowing that, and I'm going to reference this great book again, in the Bible it talks about death and life being in the power of your tongue. So know that whatever you say about yourself and what you say about others, it holds power.
Yeah.
And know that what you sow is that you reap. So even when you speak negatively onto someone else and you think that that's going to do you any good and do them harm, know it's going to do you harm in the long run. You understand? So always speak blessing. Bless those that curse you, because in the end you shall be blessed. Always let positive things filter out of this. And it's not easy. All of us, I know all of us have our moments. You know, but I just think being intentional with your word is so important, because in our generation we get so caught up in saying what's on our minds and what's on our hearts, because the freedom of speech is a natural given right that outstands the Constitution, right? Though we have that freedom in the Constitution, in that legal document, that freedom of speech is there. I can open my mouth and say whatever I want to say, right? But there's going to be repercussions. There's going to be consequences to what's coming out of my mouth, and you don't know that if what you're saying, how that's going to affect the other person, how it's going to affect you in the long run. You know, and so, you know, I went to this thing called Hearts of Beauty. It was at a Primerica convention. We have like the Super Saturdays and things like that. And I went to this Hearts of Beauty with my mom, and Miss Sheila was there, and to Sharon, hi, and to Sharon. And we learned we spoke about the word at this one point in time with Hearts of Beauty. And I'm forgetting her name right now. I know her name. It was Sharon, like my auntie Sharon. Miss Sharon, she was talking about this, you know, these 2 plants, right? And the plants grew up in the same kind of environment, same amount of sunlight, same amount of food, water, all that 9. And the only difference is, to plant A, the person spoke good things to the plant. You're beautiful, you're green, you're luscious, you're amazing, I love you, look, you're so pretty. And to plant B, you're terrible, I hate you, I can't stand you, why are you living there? And over the course of time, the plant that they spoke all the positive things to flourished. And the plant that they spoke all this grotesque, you know, meanness that they spewed into the plant, it wilted and died, right? Think of yourselves as that. We're like living trees, right? Know that your word is powerful. And so, going back to my boss people thing, that's why when I greet you guys, I say, hey, boss people, because I believe that I'm a boss, and I'm going to do boss things, and the people around me, and the people that I'm speaking to, and the people that I'm inspired by, that are inspiring me, and that I'm inspiring, are going to be bosses too, right? And so, That's my answer to the question. All right, y'all. So I know I've asked you so many questions at this point. Thank you for staying with me. But I got one more question, and that is, do y'all have any questions for me?
Ooh, I have a question for you. If your podcast, Conversations with Khai, had a theme song, what would it sound like? Put it on the spot.
All right.
Man, now she's making me put on my Khai the songwriter hat. So we're gonna have to put that on real quick. All right. Let's see how we're gonna do. I guess we're all gonna sing into this mic, huh?
MIA style.
MIA style.
Okay,
Listen,
ready?
if I'm gonna do this, you know how we gotta do the ooh, ooh,
The
ooh,
harmonies.
We need the, yeah. All right, we need that MIA in the house, okay? All right.
Let me pull out, because I need to make sure I'm in the right key.
All right, Amy. Can you give me a ooh? Can you give me a low ooh? Okay. Yeah. Harmonize, Bella. All right. Okay. Hey. Ooh. Ooh. There's so much love to share, all the joy you give. There's conversations that need to happen. The world should be more fair. You bring value to the convo, even if you're unaware. So pull up a chair and come to the table for conversations with Khai. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Love that.
All right.
Wow, on the spot.
Yeah.
Boss people, thank you so much for tuning into my very first episode of Conversations with Khai.
Yes.
And now, I have a question for y'all.
Uh-oh.
If you're 20 or older, comment down below what is one thing you wish you did differently in your 20s. And if you're not 20 yet, what are you looking forward to most about your 20s? Let me know, y'all. And that's a wrap on Conversations with Khai.
All right, cut it. Enough. Wrap it up. Wrap it up.